Good morning, coffee with Karen. Click. Finally remembered to do it in the beginning. So, how's it going today? Today is the day before Thanksgiving, so I wonder how many people are traveling today. We'll see how many views we get on Coffee with Karen. Which kind of reminds me, because I've been gone. This is what I wanted to talk about today, was just, I wonder how many other people here, whoever's listening, ever feel torn between wanting to be in two different places at once. you know, um, it's kind of been an experience for my whole life, which, by the way, look at this. Wow. I was hoping it was going to show more like when I was just not bending my head, but I really got the mop going on this morning. Isn't it enjoyable? I'd love to see what yours looks like, actually. I just joined Blue Sky under Ask the Spirit Guide, so I don't have any idea if I'm going to use it. But if you're on there, come find me. And can we post pictures? I don't know. Can you post pictures of yourself in the morning? Can we do that? Wouldn't that be awesome? With your coffee cup? That'd be great. So, anyways, it's looking pretty good, Blue Sky. So I'm kind of understanding. This is a side. We're going to talk about kind of feeling torn in between wanting to be in two different places at once, and I'll tell you a little bit about why it's been like that since my parents got divorced when I was 5. So I think that's where it comes from, to be honest. But my understanding of Blue Sky is that, well, this is how I've heard somebody describe it so far, is you've got all the people over on X, all the MAGAs, and they're kind of like, spreading all their disinformation and they're fighting with each other now. This is what somebody said. I don't know. I'm not even on it, so I have no idea. And then and then all the liberals and the Dems are coming over on Blue Sky and not tolerating any of the stuff that's going to be happening that happens on X. So if anybody comes over to Blue Sky and tries to pull that over here, it's not tolerated. So how cool is that? So I don't know. So I'm just curious. I want to hang out there. There's some funny pictures, really cool pictures going up, and so I want to see. It would be really great because if we keep the light high and bright in Blue Sky, and then people get tired of being over on X and then they come over and they're like, yeah, this is actually where I want to be. I didn't realize I was getting disinformation over here. So it's just that they won't, I think Blue Sky's not, people on there aren't going to tolerate any hate talk and misinformation and all that kind of stuff. That's my hope anyways. So way to go. Apparently a couple women started Blue Sky. So awesome. And it never really like, did they use the word blue for a reason? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, so I just signed up as Ask the Spirit Guides. So homesickness, not really homesickness, but feeling like you want to be in two places at once. That's been my regular experience. Now, there's 2 reasons. One has to do with my husband for sure. And the other one has to do with my parents getting divorced when I was 5. Because I remember so I would go to my dad's every other weekend. I think that's it. I pretty much lived with my mom and my stepfather. Well, he came into our lives at like, I don't know, I think I was 7 or something. But I think like I always stayed the week and every other weekend at my mom's. And then every other weekend I'd go to my dad's. But I remember crying at night, not during the day, but I remember crying at night that I wanted to be home with my mom. So, poor little 7, 8, 9-year-old Karen. And then every time I would travel, like if I wasn't with both of them, I would feel torn. And if you're from a divorced family, you might understand this because, I mean, because you are torn. You're always, and I love my stepfather. There's no doubt about it. But I also had this other father, so I was always torn. It was like the holidays. It would be Christmas Eve at his house and Christmas Day at my mom's house. And Christmas Eve, I'd be missing my mom. And Christmas Day, I'd be missing my dad. It was just constant, just constant. And maybe people talk with their kids nowadays about that kind of stuff if you get divorced. If you're in your 30s or 40s and your kids are little and you get divorced, hopefully you're talking about that stuff on a regular basis, but we never talked about it. No one ever knew that I was sad all the time. It's interesting. I haven't thought about this for a while, so I didn't even realize I was sad all the time, which I think I was. I think I was. Oh, so sad. But not during the day. It was mostly at night for me, like when I would be going to sleep. So I do, and I still feel that as an adult. Like, so now I've been at my sister's for a week and a day, and I'm leaving in 2 days. And the whole time I've been here, I've been like missing my husband because, and that's a whole nother story I want to talk about because it's kind of like a twin flame thing, I think, with him. But which I don't really understand twin flames, but it kind of makes sense to me, or soulmates or whatever it is. Um, but I also want to be here. So it's like I want to be home and I want to be here. And I don't want to leave here and I don't want to not go home. Oh, it's so aggravating. It's so aggravating. Because I love watching the family here. I feel like a bigger part of a family here at home. It's always just been my husband and I, which I also enjoy, just the quiet and the peace, and I do whatever I want all the time. Where, here in Wyoming, it's, the family's very close to each other and they're popping in. And like my brother-in-law just went over for breakfast, for a pancake breakfast with my great niece who's 4. So he just went over for pancake breakfast, which, my sister and I were like, we could not eat pancakes this early. I mean, pancakes are only for dinner because then you go into hibernation mode. I can't eat pancakes in the morning. So he's over there having pancakes, which is so freaking adorable. Like I can't do that. I live too many hours away. I can't do that. So torn, right? It's that feeling of like, oh man. But I since I left for college, I've not been close enough to family to pop in for pancake breakfast or dinner on Tuesday. They do dinner on Sundays. They do family dinner on Sundays. They live like a mile from each other. Isn't that cute? I just love it. I love it. We played Yahtzee. I mean, they were here for a couple hours. Every time I go somewhere for a family, and it's been like this since I've left for college, it's a commitment. It's you have to travel, at least 5 hours. Or now my closest family where I'm living is 2, the closest family. So my family is like 2 hours away, and Jim's family is like 3.5 hours away. So it's always a commitment, you can't just pop in. And like Jim's family has lived close to each other, and they get to just, hey, we're having a pool party on Sunday, come on over. And it's just, you're like looking from afar, and it's so cool. And you want to be a part of it. But, it's just the circumstances, just because of where you live. So if I had to do anything over again, I would really, as a young person in my 20s, I would try to settle a little like closer to family. Now, that's all to say that's, because I do get along with all my family, but then I would have been torn between like settling closer to my family or settling closer to Jim's family. And that's because we do get along with both sides. So if you don't get along with family, then you're like, you know what? I'm living 3 hours away and I'll see you on the holidays, Hey, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow to anyone who's in the States. I think it's only the United States that's celebrating Thanksgiving. If I'm wrong about that, put it in the comments. That'd be awesome. So, you ever feel torn? That whole feeling of feeling torn? So the other thing with my husband, it's really interesting. So I'll have to do a separate, not that I don't know, think anybody cares, but I'll do it. I could do a separate video on. Somebody did ask me to do like an answer questions just about like who am I? Like, who am I? What's other things about me type of thing. I could put that in the intro, an intro video for the channel. Um, but my husband and I met, I was 18, he was 19. We met in college, and I met him at my first house party. If you asked him today, and he told me this then, he walked into the house party and I was at the basketball house. So if you've been to college or colleges nowadays, well, then they did then. It's like where the basketball players hung out. I didn't even know that. I was just like at my first house party. And I was playing, um, what is that? A beer game, basically. The quarters. I guess it's called quarters. Anyways, I was sitting at the table and he walked in with like a bunch of other guys. And he tells me today it was love at first sight. So, oh, how cute is that? So that's a whole story. But anyways, so we met and we started dating a couple months later. But I don't know. I always just want to be with him. Like there's just something about his energy for me that's so comforting. Like when I think about him, that I can't even imagine. I mean, he's 57 now. I'm 55. Ugh, who knows which one of us is going first. Sucks. But I'm better than I was when I was younger. But there's some kind of, and maybe this is just love, you know what I mean? But I feel like there's always been such a strong connection for me to him. I mean, I'll let him speak for himself, but he does send me texts twice since I've been here and said, "Time to come home. I miss you." That was the day after I left. And then I just got one yesterday too, I think. It's time to come home. So, plus I'm sure Lucy misses me tremendously. Because she's used to me being home all day. So she's like, where is this person that's usually here all day with me? So I kind of miss her. Plus I had a dream about my other cat last night, Cleo. And so that made me wake up missing her. But all right, I'm just rambling now. So yeah, so does anybody else feel torn? Anybody else got a twin flame that they are kind of feel the most comfortable with? And if you don't, right? I think that is, I feel very grateful for that, and I should, right? Sometimes, like if you're an independent person and you don't have that, there are pros to that too. There are a lot of pros to that too, you know. So anywho, have an amazing day. What are you drinking today in your coffee mug? I can't think of anything else. Ah, I just feel like hanging here with you. Wyoming is amazing, but we're up in the mountains and you can't breathe up here. Why do people live up here? You can't breathe. You really can't breathe up here. And the water, oh my gosh, you have to drink so much water. Like I envision myself getting back to Wisconsin and being like, oh, I can breathe again. And I know it's dry there in the winter, but not like this. Wow. Like you literally can get depressed. Like your brain will get depressed if you don't have enough water. It's amazing. So the survival skills up here in the mountains, although it's beautiful, it's really beautiful. All right, have an amazing day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.